everybody. So my parents are Palestinian refugees. And of all the exotic places that they could have immigrated to, they decided to settle in the most generic suburb of Washington, D.C., Rockville, Maryland. And it was fine. I grew up there, but I grew up, first generation Palestinian and kind of struggling to figure out where I fit in. So I was like an American in the streets, but once I got into home, I would step foot into Little Palestine. And that's where we would speak Arabic to each other. My mom would make these big, extravagant Palestinian dinners every night. We would sit down as a family and eat dinner, and it would be mahshi and malfouf and mlokhia, and sometimes she would be cute and make meatloaf. We would just do everything together as a big family. And because my parents were new arrivals, they didn't really know the ropes of America, so they were a little bit kind of suspicious of American society. So they didn't let me do a lot. They were kind of strict. And so I didn't really know how to spread my wings. I didn't know where I really fit in. So at school, I really struggled. I wanted to be an American. I wanted to fit in with all the other kids at school, but I just didn't know how. And there was a group of girls at school that I thought were your typical, just beautiful American girls that I wanted to be friends with so badly. And I called them the Jennifers. And they were tall and skinny with silky hair that you could put a comb through. And they had tinkly laughs and freckles. And next to them, I just felt like a big oaf. I had really curly, frizzy hair. I didn't know what conditioner was at the time. And I smelled like falafel. And I also had to wear tube socks all the way up to my knees to cover up my hairy legs. But we got that figured out. And then at lunch, we'd sit down, and I would kind of sit and watch them take out their sandwiches, and it would be PB&J on whole wheat and bologna on Wonder Bread, and I was in the back, and I'd open the suitcase of my lunchbox, and it would be kofta and a big pita that's cut in half, and I would eat the whole thing, and then next to it is a full pomegranate and a kitchen knife. Not lying. So it was, I didn't really know what I was doing or how to make friends with people. And people could tell, people knew when kids didn't really fit in. I had crazy hair, I smelled like garlic, and my parents would pick me up and speak to me in Arabic. So a lot of times people would stop me and be like, but Lena, where are you really from? And I would say, oh, I'm Palestinian, I'm from Palestine, which to them was she's either Pakistani or she's a terrorist. And when you're 7, you're I don't know, I don't think I'm either, but let me ask my parents, So I really wanted to get in with the Jennifers. I really wanted to figure out a way. And when I was 7 years old, I finally did. I was this is my in. At the time, the most innovative breakthrough children's toy was a Chrissy doll. Anybody know what a Chrissy doll is? Yeah, okay, great, yay. Some people were around in the 70s and 80s. So this Chrissy doll was amazing. She was this classic American doll with milky white skin, and she was as big as an overfed 8-month-old, and she had bright red hair that if you pulled it from the very top, very high tech, you'd pull it from the top and it grows, and then you kind of pull the thing in the back and it would shorten. And I was I need to get my grubby little hands on this Chrissy doll because I wanted to play with her, but also because I started noticing that the Jennifers would bring in their own Chrissy doll, and they would play with the Chrissy doll at recess, and they would show her at show and tell. And I was if I could get my grubby hands on a Chrissy doll, then maybe I could sit down with these Jennifers, and we could have a chat, and it would be really awesome. So I told my parents that's what I want for Christmas. I want a Chrissy doll. And every self-respecting parent of a Gen Xer, they completely ignored me. And so Christmas came, and I opened some gifts, and I got some of the stuff that I wanted, a yellow Walkman and some more tube socks. But I didn't get a Chrissy doll, and I was that's okay, those were the breaks, So later on that day, we went to my Auntie Samira's house for Christmas dinner. And she was really sweet. She managed to get all the cousins a little gift to open. And at the time, it was just me and my cousin Judy, who were the only girls. So Judy opened her present. It was a big box, and she was opening it, and I was looking at it, and it started dawning on me, I was wait a second, could it be? And holy shit, Judy got a Chrissy doll. And I was Okay, because you know, like, if you have only two girls, you know she's just gonna get two Chrissy dolls and call it a day, right? No. So she handed me like a smaller box, and part of me was like still hoping. I was like, no, she's just playing. It's in the closet. Like, it's still there. I got it. But I didn't. I didn't get the Chrissy doll. It was a Snoopy electric toothbrush. And I was crushed. I was so disappointed, and I was so resentful of Judy. I saw her in the corner. She didn't even take the Chrissy doll out. She didn't even respect it. And I was so and I was so crushed. And Auntie Samira noticed. I didn't want to be rude. She was like, honey, are you upset about your gift? And I said, Auntie, thank you so much for the Snoopy electric toothbrush, but I really want a Chrissy doll. She said, Lena, I promise you, for your birthday, I'm gonna get you a Chrissy doll. And I was elated, like she made my day. I was like, oh my God, I know I didn't get one today, I'm not getting one tomorrow, but at some point in the future, I'm definitely gonna get a Chrissy doll. And that was it, that's all I needed to know. I was so excited. But here's the thing, Christmas is December 25th, right? My birthday is June 2nd. Which meant that I had 5.5 more months to wait for my Chrissy doll. But when you're 7, you don't really have a concept of time. You're like, all right, that's cool. Within 6 months, I'm gonna have a Chrissy. It's gonna be cool. It's amazing. So the countdown began, right? January 1st, 1980, I jumped out of bed. I'm like, this is the year. This is the year of change. This is my year. I'm gonna get a Chrissy doll. I'm gonna make friends. It's gonna be amazing. And I was just counting down the days, the weeks, the months. But by mid-March, late March, I was getting tired of it. I started realizing, like, this is a drag, like this is taking a long time to get to my birthday. And finally, a few days before my birthday, my parents sat me down and they're like, listen, we have a great idea. Your birthday's in a week and your brother Assam's birthday is on June 26th, so we're gonna combine the birthdays and have a big party with the whole family on Assam's birthday. And I was like, 5.5 months, I waited I can wait 3 more weeks, right? So the day of our birthday party comes, I wake up, I jump out of bed, and I'm so excited. I'm like, this is the day. But here's the thing, I had a very big family, which means that any birthday, graduation, Easter, you have no fewer than 55 people coming to your house. And so, and also there was a protocol. So people come in, you can't just rip up presents. You had to wait for all the like little steps of the day. So all the people came in, the aunties and the ammos and the aunts and the cousins and the grandparents. You're saying hello. And then it was lunchtime, and it was like, you got to bring the malfouf out and the melchia, and then the mansaf, which is like this amazing braised lamb with like rice and yogurt. It's amazing. And I'm just trying to rush people. I'm like, can I get your plate? Do you need this fork? You don't need this fork. And I'm just trying to like rush people. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And then all the aunties go in the kitchen and they're like pots and pans. They're gossiping and they're cleaning up. And then they bring all the cakes out and it's like one for me, one for my brother. They sing happy birthday. One of the kids throws up. It's like a whole thing. And I'm like, okay, I'm telling my mom, like, now can we open presents? And she goes, 10 minutes, okay? 10 minutes, we're gonna clean, we're gonna get the living room, and then go outside with your cousins, and then we'll bring you back in 10 minutes. I was like, fine, 10 more minutes. So I walk through the living room and I see it. I see the pile of gifts, I see the big box, I see the card, and it says, to Lena, love Auntie Samira. And I was like, 10 more minutes until I finally get to hold my Chrissy doll. And I go outside, and I'm standing kind of hovering by the door, and I'm watching like all my cousins play outside. This is when kids went outside to play. Remember those days? And everyone was like out playing kickball in the street. And if you remember, like there was always a kid at the end of the block, and every time a car would come, he'd yell car, and like all the kids would like grab the ball and step aside and wait for the car to pass. So there was at one point, this car was like coming through a little bit faster, and the kid was like, hey guys, there's a car coming. And everybody scurried out of the way, except for my younger cousin Jimmy, who was in the yard, and he wasn't paying attention, and all of a sudden, he darted in front of the street, got hit by the car. And he was on the ground, there was blood everywhere, all the kids were freaking out, one kid was crying for no reason. There was like, it wasn't Jimmy, it was just him, he was crying. There was like everything, there was like mayhem. One of the kids ran into the house and was like, Jimmy got hit by a car! And all the parents came out, and I was still standing where I was. And I looked at this whole situation with disgust. And I was like, 5.5 months, 3 weeks, 6 hours, and 45 minutes. I'm not waiting one more second. And I went inside, And I went to my Chrissy doll, the box. I sat down, I unripped the box, I opened the box, I took her out, I took all those stupid things around from her neck and her whatever. I picked her up, and I finally had my frickin' Chrissy doll in my hands. So Jimmy was fine. It was a bloody nose. So dramatic, right? So dramatic. And for the first couple of weeks, I really loved playing with my Chrissy doll. You know, it was like I'd waited so long, and I really loved it. I was like in my head. I was very creative. I was telling stories. But I found out very soon that like that ship had sailed, because it was summer break. There was no show and tell. There was no recess. And even when I saw the Jennifers in the park or at day camp, they had already grown past the Chrissy doll. They were on to like stick-on tattoos or something. So I had kind of missed that window. And I played with my Chrissy doll, and after a while I got bored. I started crimping her hair, and I was like, forget this. And she ended up in the closet. And then in school, I kind of gave up on being friends with the Jennifers. I was like, it is what it is. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, we'll figure it out, hopefully. Until about 7th grade. 7th grade, gym class. This girl came up. I'd seen her before. She was really cute. She had curly hair and big brown eyes and big dimples, and her name was Sophia. And she came up to me, and she was like, is your dad from Ramallah? And Ramallah is a town in the West Bank in Palestine. I was like, yeah, that's where my dad's from. He's from Ramallah. And she goes, oh my God, I think my mom and your dad are cousins. And sure enough, they were 3rd cousins, which made me and Sophia 5th cousins. And I was so excited because I was like, oh my God, I have a cousin in class and school, and even beyond that, we had so much in common. We both had crazy hair with no conditioner in it. And we both had our big, loud Palestinian families. And we both brought weird stuff to school. But the thing about Sophia was she was confident, and she was really friendly. And she would make people try hummus. She's like, I know it's kind of weird, but it's actually really good. You should try it. So people would like share her food. And I really learned a lot from being friends with her. In fact, she's been my lifelong friend till today, through high school, through college, through our 20s and 30s. We have very different lives. She has 5 kids, I have 0. But what I learned from Sophia and from that experience was that, you know, sometimes you really wait, and you're waiting and waiting for something that you think you really, really want. But given enough time, you're going to get exactly what you need. Thank you.
Lena, Rizkallah, everybody.